I watched Ridley Scott's cult classic Alien long ago. While it is one of my all-time favorites when it comes to alien movies, there was one line in particular that has stayed with me all these years later. Talk about recall value. In space, no one can hear you scream. That one simple yet accurate observation has been a steady source of nightmares for me. And possibly many of you too. Such is the nature of space. It is an abundant vastness with absolute nothingness. On Earth, no matter where you are, even in the most deserted of places, there's hope of finding someone, another human, or even an animal. When in space, there's no possibility of even such a hope. Imagine being in place of George Clooney's character in Gravity, the one who drifted away in an act of self-sacrifice. That's another source of terror for me. Anyway, all this just to say that space is absolutely lonely. And should you see something terrifying or unusual in such loneliness, there's absolutely no one you can call out to. Welcome to StarXtreme. With us, there is a little space for everyone. Today, we're going to take a deep breath and then take a deep dive into a list of some of the most bizarre things seen in space by astronauts. And when I say bizarre, I mean gooseflesh-inducing stuff. Are you ready? 1. Someone's knocking, but who is it? Imagine you're alone in a tiny spacecraft. It's your first time up there, all alone in endless space. Then suddenly, a knocking sound. That's what happened to China's first man in space, Yang Liwei, on his first ever flight in 2003. Yang said that the knock from the outside of his spaceship was quite strange and scary. He went on to describe the mysterious knocking as the sound of a wooden hammer on an iron bucket. When he looked out of the spaceship, he did not see anyone. While nobody has been able to explain this mysterious knock, other Chinese astronauts in later missions too reported hearing similar sounds. In 1969, in fact, a test flight for the moon landing mission orbited the moon, and on the far side, while cut off from all radio contact with Earth, the astronauts heard a strange sound, one that they couldn't explain. 2. Are we being watched? A small step for man, a giant leap for mankind. These renowned words by Neil Armstrong, the first man to walk on the moon, were only further enhanced by his sightings of not just a UFO, but a whole parking lot full of UFOs. Picture that. During the Apollo 11 mission in 1969, after Armstrong landed on the moon, it is believed that NASA lost transmission with the space mission for about 2 minutes. It is rumored that during that time, Armstrong sent a secret message to NASA saying, "These babies were huge, sir, enormous. Oh God, you wouldn't believe it. I'm telling you, there are other spacecrafts out here, lined up on the far side of the crater's edge. They are on the moon watching us." While there are many such tales about Armstrong and his first moon landing, he himself is quite secretive and reticent about his experiences. He will neither confirm nor deny such rumors, perhaps because there is likely no factual basis for these accounts, or perhaps because they are so fantastical that if true, they would create a huge uproar. 3. A space snake? NASA astronaut Dr. Story Musgrave had a weird tale to tell. He claims he saw an 8-foot-long white snake just casually floating through space. A man with a solid reputation, it is difficult to debase his claims as untrue. When it was suggested that it could have been a hose detached from the spaceship, he strongly refused that allegation. Many have claimed that the sighting could just be space junk. But Musgrave was quite adamant that the white space snake, or eel, had its own propulsion technique. Moreover, he says that he saw it twice. I guess you can be wrong once, but twice? I don't know what to say. 4. An array of UFOs. Seeing one UFO is thrilling, perhaps even intoxicating. But what would you say to an array of UFOs parked linearly? Astronaut Gordon Cooper, who flew both the Mercury 9 and the Gemini 5, claims to have seen an entire convoy of UAPs during his time with the Air Force. Interestingly, a decade later, he came across something very similar. In 1963, while on a solo journey around the Earth, when he was just finishing his 22-orbit trip, he saw a green glowing object hurtling towards his Mercury capsule. The scene was picked up on radar by the tracking station in Musgrave, Australia, which makes it quite extraordinary and very believable. When he narrated the incident to the United Nations, he said that these extraterrestrial vehicles and their crews were visiting from other planets. He said that while most astronauts are reluctant to discuss UFOs, in 1951 he had the privilege of seeing several UFOs of different sizes flying in fighter formation in the general direction of east to west, over Europe. 5. Strange lights. In 2005, Leroy Chiao, an American astronaut and commander of the International Space Station, saw a set of strange lights in space during a spacewalk. While it could be dismissed as skeptical, he was not alone in seeing this upside-down V formation. His crew saw it too as it zoomed past their spaceship. Some skeptics say that it could have been the light emanating from a fleet of fishing boats along the South American coast. However, Chiao was 230 miles above Earth when this happened, and for lights to be observed so high up is quite impossible. While Chiao is reluctant to believe that aliens from another dimension may have visited Earth, he is not ruling out this possibility entirely. 6. A glass dome on the Moon. A NASA astronaut, Alan Bean, described space as looking like shiny black patent leather shoes from the surface of the Moon. However, as conspiracy theories go, Richard C. Hoagland believes that Alan Bean could possibly be seeing the space through the reflection of a glass dome left behind by an alien civilization from long ago. He based his theory on the premise that space, when observed from the Moon, should be inky black. Infinite, unending, deep, and endlessly black. It shouldn't be shiny. The only explanation thus for the patent leather shoe shine is a glass dome somewhere in space. And if this were true, then an alien civilization is perhaps not such a distant dream now, is it? 7. Animal cemetery. This one may not be as shocking as the rest of the incidents so far. Many astronauts staunchly believe that they have seen corpses of animals in space. This is perhaps not so unbelievable because the first subjects to take the Galactic Express into space were monkeys and dogs, and when the mission failed, these poor dead beings were chucked into space, where they allegedly float even today. Shocking but true. Definitely an incident that is more morbid than it is creepy. 8. Cylindrical-Shaped UFO. When you picture a UFO, what do you see? A saucer-shaped flying object with lights, perhaps? This image might be a consequence of Hollywood influence or thanks to pictures posted by space fanatics, but cosmonaut Musa Manarova's a different story to tell. In 1991, during a Russian space station mission, he was watching a visiting space capsule dock nearby. While he was filming it, he saw a shiny object that seemed to be coming off the spacecraft. It was cylindrical in shape. This footage, which he caught on camera of an object floating down, was believed to be a UFO, while many have dismissed it as space junk. Yet Manarov staunchly believes otherwise. 9. An exploding UFO. While several astronauts are hesitant to speak about their sightings, especially ones that are bizarre and unbelievable, and hover around UFOs, one person who had no qualms reiterating what he saw was Major General Vladimir Kovalyanok. In 1981, while working at the Salyut orbital station, as part of a crew manning Salyut 6 space station, he saw something strange in one porthole. The object, which looked no bigger than a finger, was orbiting in space. He admits, however, that he cannot be absolutely sure about the size of this alien being. Just when his partner Viktor Savinik was going to take a picture of it, the object, which they believed to be a UFO, unexpectedly exploded, leaving behind clouds of smoke. The object split into two interconnected pieces and looked very much like a dumbbell. While conspiracy theories regarding aliens in space and spacecraft from other worlds are available in abundance, the things that have been spotted by astronauts in space are open to interpretation. After all, since there is no way to prove or disprove these mysterious sightings, it does make one wonder, doesn't it? What do you guys have to say? Drop in your comments below and don't forget to subscribe to StarXtreme because with us there is a little space for everyone.